Hello everyone, I'm the Night Shadow, and today I have a video about the recent changes that just came to Dead by Daylight. The most recent patch, 9.2.1, has quite a few changes, especially changes that affect the survivor role significantly, and spoiler alert, it's not necessarily a negative for survivors. And I would like to discuss that in today's video, in addition to something that makes me very sad, and but at the same time something to sort of celebrate. So I'm not going to be going over that much of the update today. I'll just be going over a few minor things, well, minor, pretty major things actually, that affect the survivor role primarily, and yeah, I hope you enjoy the discussion. So as some of you may know, the first changes we'll be getting into are the changes to these maps. They added more pallets, and it's not one or two extra pallets. It is a very significant extra number of pallets. But at the same time, they also made some other changes to the maps. I haven't played on all of them yet, but Haddonfield in particular, oh boy, they changed it. And I'm going to be honest, I don't really like the changes. Okay, I mean, first of all, there is this totem here that you'll see on screen, which is just completely inaccessible. That's not really a survivor buff. I mean, it's not really, yeah, it's Dead by Daylight, right? There are bugs for absolutely no reason. They did not change anything about the totems. They did not change anything about this part of the map or this item. So I have absolutely no clue how this could possibly happen, but Behavior Interactive still manages to make some magic happen with how bugged their game is. But apart from this, the change that makes me the saddest about Haddonfield is the removal of my favorite loop in the entire game. You might see some footage on screen here. I'm not sure at the time of recording if I have any footage on this computer of the loop that I'm talking about, but there was a loop on Haddonfield behind the houses, behind, I believe, the house that did not have the garage would spawn the loop. It was basically, it was a window loop, but it had a breakable wall. So it was a fairly large, pretty safe window loop before the breakable wall was broken, with two sides that you can go around with a bit of odd hitboxes occasionally. And once the wall was broken, it transformed it into sort of a different loop. My friend actually informed me the other day that a content creator, I've forgotten his name, but there's a content creator who has made a video that's like half an hour long that's dedicated to just this one loop, which honestly, I think that's awesome, man. I've never watched it, but I learned to play it over the years, and it became my favorite loop in the entire game. And it's just gone now. I mean, at least from the one time I've played on Haddonfield. I haven't played on Haddonfield. No, actually, I've played it on Haddonfield twice since the update, and both times it just wasn't on the map, which is really sad for me. But apart from that, I would like to get on to the discussion of my new favorite loop, just to advertise it a little bit. It's not a new loop, but I like it a lot. I've always thought it's a really, really interesting loop to play, and I hope I can get you guys onto it. It's this very strange loop on Forgotten Ruins. Yeah, Forgotten Ruins, I know, right? I mean, super killer-sided map, obviously, but like, most people think it's a really, really boring map for Survivor Chase, and I beg to differ. I think it is extremely killer-sided, and overall the Survivor Chase potential is generally not that high, especially against killers with strong anti-loop, but against killers without much anti-loop, I think the map has a lot of very interesting, intricate loops that I really enjoy playing, and this is one example of it. I think by this point in my talking, I'm probably dead because I'm not that good at the game. But I had a couple of really cool chases against this Myers while playing as Felix on Forgotten Ruins on this loop, and it's just one pallet, right? Well, not really, actually. It's one pallet and it's one window at the top, but I didn't actually loop it. He didn't follow me through the window and start, like, following my looping because he went around. He didn't vault in, at least the first time, he didn't vault in through the window. So usually what you'd want to do is go around the window and loop it again and again and vault through the window and get 3 volts out of it, and then you play the loop. But he didn't do that. He played it quite intelligently, so he just forced me to play the pallet and the drop down. Now the drop downs are actually what's interesting, and I'll probably re-roll the footage here, maybe slow it down a bit, but the drop downs are really intricate. So he can stand, there's a platform that I can stand on, and I mean, he can also stand on it, but generally I'll stand up there, and he tries to catch me off guard by a bunch of 50-50s at the stairs at the base of that, and then I can go around and I can take a few different pathings. I can go to the pallet, I can go back up to the stairs, back up the stairs to the same spot, or if I want to, if I time it perfectly and I get lucky with the 50, I could actually go all the way around and vault the window back into the loop and force him to either follow me or to wait for me to do that and then go back around the other way. So this loop looks like absolute utter dog shit, but it's actually not bad. It's very interesting. It's very interesting and intricate to play, which I appreciate a lot about it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that short analysis of the loop. For the wider patch notes, just quick few notes, because obviously I know none of you, I'm not going to be the Odstava giving my golden opinions, but I think generally some of the changes are quite unnecessary. Like, if you look at this list of maps, right, the list of maps that they added more palettes to, yeah, some of these maps probably needed it. Some of the Coldwood maps had really big gaps between loops, and Haddonfield definitely could do with a few more palettes, but I really don't think this caliber was necessary. Haddonfield is back to being an incredibly strong survivor map after these changes, because the thing is, the windows on Haddonfield are incredibly powerful. Even with the removal of my favorite loop, the windows are still like really good windows on this map. It's just the fact that kept it in balance, and I really don't think it was really a survivor's nightmare. I think the reason the kill rate was so high was because survivors are kind of bad at playing on Haddonfield. The map's chase potential was never really that low, but now with these changes, it's back to being incredibly high without that much skill expression, whereas before it was decently high with requiring a very significant amount of skill expression. And I feel like these maps actually are not really maps that are that terrible for Survivor. It's actually more that they're just hard to play, and I think it's not a good change that the devs are just simplifying these maps, right? Like, yeah, you can argue they're too weak for Survivor because the average Survivor doesn't know how to play them, but I would argue that's actually a good thing. We should have some maps which are pretty easy for survivors to play, some which are pretty easy for killers to play, and then some, like these, which can swing either direction based on the survivor and killer's relative skills to each other. But what we are doing by changing these maps to be not really that much stronger, I mean, yes, much stronger for Survivor, but more so much easier to play for Survivor, is removing the two-edged skill expression that was there before on maps like Haddonfield and Coldwind. The reason these maps were so balanced and did not swing in favor of one is because they had this skill expression. They weren't linear, because linear maps, because of the nature of DBD, will usually, not always, but usually swing strongly to favor one side or the other. So having these very difficult to play maps was actually a really good thing, in my opinion, for the game's health. Maybe you could argue not even balance that much because the average survivor is quite bad and the average killer is also not that great. But I would argue it just kind of contributed to the fun and the learning of Dead by Daylight. And to be honest, I'm kind of sad to see a lot of these changes. I think the devs are listening not enough to the survivors that are actually expressing themselves in logical, reasonable ways. But at the same time as they're not listening enough to one group of survivors, they're listening too much to another group of survivors, which is Twitter survivors, which are the survivors that, even though they complain so much about the game being killer-sided and survivors not being able to, survivors can't have anything, at the same time, they're not actually learning from their mistakes, and instead they just choose to complain instead of improving. And I promise you, if they improved, yeah, they would definitely still have some nitpicks. Like, anyone who's logical with DBD has some nitpicks, but I guarantee you they would complain about illogical things a lot less if they took it upon themselves to learn rather than take it upon others to be blamed for their mistakes. Anyway, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I did this entire recording in one take, almost the entire video in one take, so I hope you enjoyed that pretty cool one take. And yeah, if you're new to my channel, welcome. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys around. By the way, in case you guys are wondering on where the videos were, I mean, probably none of you were, but if you, in case you are, my Microsoft Clipchamp, which is the editing software that I use to make videos, got completely erased for absolutely no fucking reason, and I still don't understand why. Every single video that I had on both of my computers, one at my mom's house and one at my dad's house, was completely erased, all of the videos that are not done. So I had a video, a really, really cool long video about why I kill this tunnel so much in the works, and that's just completely gone, just completely out of existence now. And I also had I think, a pretty cool video that included a nurse-like montage with some music in the background, as well as a discussion of what it's like to be a nursemaid. And that video also just got completely Thanos snapped out of existence, which is very, very frustrating and upsetting for me. But I hope you guys can cope with the short-term decreased frequency of videos. That being said, I hopefully will get another video out tomorrow or the day after that, because I'm working on another one. So yeah, until then, see you and goodbye.